Evening, everyone. This is Brad Matheny. Today is the uh, what is it? The 18th, Sunday. Sorry, drawing a blank. Markets just opened. S&P is down fairly hard, breaking down below these lows. Recently, last week's volatility low could be a big breakdown setting up. Nasdaq's doing the same thing, breaking down below last week's lows just barely. Huge, big volatility bump to the downside. You're looking at, the Dow Jones is not trading right now, but we could get to the YM. And you can see the YM is breaking down ever so slightly. Let's take a look at the NQ. NQ is gapping down, big breakdown, very little volume, but breaking down right now. ES gapping down, moderate volume, down almost a full percentage point on a holiday. Now, this is what's interesting here on this holiday is that, what could happen to the downside is that, we could get a little gapping move here and then a holiday tomorrow, and then we could be moving into a, who knows what tomorrow, moving into Tuesday morning. Now, what's also interesting here is, you're getting data here with the UK trading breaking down fairly hard, down 84, almost 8.5%. The German DAX is down 1.46, breaking down very hard on light volume. Japanese Nikkei index is down 1 full point, rolling back downward. You can see here Bitcoin is down $1,000, $1,100, breaking downward. And you can, of course, see over here, gold is rallying. You can see it. It's very clear that fear is permeating the market. Here's gold daily breaking upward. Here's silver daily breaking upward. Here's platinum daily breaking upward, slightly flagging. Now, this really tells you the whole story, this chart. Look at this chart. I mean, this tells you the whole story right here. So what do you see here? Yeah, a great big flag. And, what's scary is this great big flag is moving into this mode A, B, C, D. And then you'd think we would have broken out into an E move higher, right? I would have thought this was a very clear E move higher, but we didn't get there. And then what we ended up having is a secondary move like this, and off of this low, A, B, C, D, and now we're moving into that phase. So this is an extended coiling of price and pressure in platinum that should extend beyond this flag length. So you can measure the simple flag length here, and if we come up to here and copy this to here, you're looking at platinum trying to make a move up to $3,200-$3,300. Okay, if we want to extend a little further, yeah, maybe $3,400-$3,500. But what that would do for gold, if we take a look at gold, applying the same type of construct, we go back past this expansion, which is pretty common. Okay, let me make sure this is correct. From these lows up to here, close. That's actually close to what the actual legs are. The actual legs here are close to that. They're 870 roughly, 875. So here you have your leg up move, and then we're going to have a second leg up move from here up into 48, 4900. I think possibly a little higher. So let me paste this again. Try to give you an idea of what a slightly higher move might look like. And here's these lows pushing up into 51, 5200. And this is leg 1, already been reached. Leg 2, trying to get there. And then we will have leg 3. Nobody believes me, but whatever. I keep trying to tell you guys. Let's see if I can do this correctly. There we go. And we would be looking at, once we get the pause and a rally, we would be getting a move up in this area. It's actually a little higher, maybe. Well, that's fine. We'll leave it there. So there we go, with the potential for a blow off top setting up in gold. So when we move past this move, we'll get the stall, then we'll get this move. Then we could get a blow off top before we move into some consolidation. So that's your map for gold, everyone. But again, just wanted to tell you, back over here, when you start taking a look at my predictions, telling you that we were likely going to be moving into a downward phase, I had made this very clean based on my predictive modeling prior to the 14th, giving you 8, 9, 10 days basically ahead of time to prepare for this move. And we are going to get a little bounce out here at the end. So again, even though I'm not one to brag, I just love this setup. And I wanted to come out and say, did someone tell you this was going to happen? Because, like I said, very few people can do this. I was watching a bunch of videos this weekend from different people, and you know what? They literally come out and say that, we don't know where it's going. We don't know what's happening. We don't know what it's going to do. We just wait for our triggers with our trading system. Okay, I get it. I'm kind of the same way with my automated trading systems as well. But, I kind of think you have to have some kind of, if you've been in a market long enough, you have to have some kind of an idea of what's actually taking place fundamentally or economically or, capital function wise with regard to the markets, and not necessarily, just be some rat that's running around a maze looking for a reward and waiting for some trigger. I think you have to kind of be more aware than that, than just, I don't want to say blindly moving through opportunities, because your triggering system may not actually generate triggers at the right time. Did you know that this was going to come down without me telling you? No. Did you know you were going to get the January 14th event without me telling you? No. There are other people out there that can do somewhat similar predictions, but the reality is that, accurately predicting the market is very, very difficult. And I think I've kind of found some unique ways to do it. I'm glad I could help bring them to you. But like I said, I just really wanted to talk to you guys about this breakdown. So, look at here. We've got a big move here and a breakdown. We've got a big move here in the NASDAQ breaking down. And then lastly, I'm going to give you one little hint, and that is right here. Okay, natural gas has been deeply, undervalued. Now, take a look at this. I'll go over here to weekly, or actually monthly, and take a look at this. Now, natural gas, I love natural gas when it sets up really well, but man, it can be very troublesome when it's doing its own thing. So, I think after this deep low, so here we have the setup, and this is what I think. Now we have this early setup here. You have kind of this peak, and this peak coming back down. And I kind of think that is setting up somewhat similar to this peak, peak, peak coming back down. Now, what happens is over the course of multiple years in this area, we move through a very expansive phase. So you can see this expansive phase here, down from the 220 area all the way up here to about the 10 area. Okay. Now, this is obviously just total speculation on my part. I have no historical data suggesting this is going to happen. I have data suggesting that this is going to be a very cold winter in certain parts of the globe, and I think natural gas demand is going to skyrocket. Now, what I do see, and I'm going to get rid of these little lines, and I'm going to focus this area here, potentially setting up something over here. And I'm going to focus you on this, okay? How we move through this bottom, setting up multiple bottoms here, okay? Then we come down into a deeper low kind of scenario here, double bottoming, rolling up, stalling, and then getting into a breakaway. Now we don't, right here in this double bottom, remember this is monthly. Right here in this double bottom, okay, I'm going to highlight it for you in a different color. Notice the deeper low, okay? Notice the deeper low. And what I want to try to do then is explain to you how we get this little rally phase, taking out these highs, coming back down, setting up a low over here that leads to the big expansive rally. And remember, that low sets up here in January and starts to really accelerate. So this is a January rally right here. January 2020. So now pay attention to that. And now let's come back over here. Oop. I don't know what that was that I moved. All right. So we'll come back over here. And now we get the peak. We get the two lower lows. We get the rally. We get the secondary rally. We get the pullback, setting up this low over here. We move into a January rally, January setup right here. And this is our January 2026. And it comes after this big stream topping formation. And now again, pay attention how this works. Big topping formation, moving through the sideways channel. Now granted, we had the peak here, we have the secondary peak here. We're moving through this sideways channel, which I believe is right here. So if you think about this peak being this head and shoulders peak, you see how we have this up, coming down, right shoulder. I think this is our right shoulder here. And I think we're moving through this consolidation, getting ready for a very strong rally phase. So I'm going to tell you right now that I believe that we've already established this low. I think this peaking scenario is a little bit different. Peak, peak, peak. Or we could go ahead and argue, if I get rid of that and get rid of that, we could go ahead and argue that we have the peak, peak, peak coming down in a head and shoulders formation, moving into the consolidation, moving into this double bottom phase, which sets up right here, moving into this double stage rally, which was really right here, double stage, pushing a little higher and getting ready to move into this big rally phase, maybe up to 10, 11, 12 bucks. So very interested in this move, particularly with natural gas up $12.5% today. That seems like a very big number. And you can take a look at it back over here on daily. Yeah, that's a very big gapping upward move. And do yourself a favor, take a look at Polar Vortex. What's coming potentially with the Polar Vortex? There is news that a Polar Vortex is hitting the U.S. Here we go. January Polar Vortex forecast warns of 2 Arctic blasts. Yeah, I don't want to subscribe. Sorry. All right, well, let's go back. USA Today, Daily Mail, Fox Mail, more. AccuWeather, Polar Vortex recorded 3 days ago. Major Polar Vortex disrupts coldest air of the season, North America, and cold to Europe. Well, let's see if I can get into here. There you go. Severe weather update. Severe cold coming down into the U.S., pushing potentially across into Europe as it shifts. So be aware that, this could be a very, look at this drop in what's called the jet stream. This jet stream is just collapsing down into Mexico or down into Texas. And that's going to push down, freezing weather for the next couple of weeks, possibly into early February. And I think, my personal opinion, you see how it drops in here, pushes up, and then drops down into Europe. Perfect. That's a perfect storm for natural gas to be able to skyrocket. That is literally what we need. Extreme cold weather for the rest of winter will cause natural gas to skyrocket. This could be a very good opportunity for all of you. So I'm going to leave it there with an SPX chart sitting here showing you the flagging formation, the breakdown. And remember, I think what we're looking at here, if I were to draw it for you, is an apex formation down into this area, basing, well, let me do it again, a breakdown, basing, bottoming, and then a deeper roll down into February. All right, guys, go get some.